Hello, beautiful souls, and thank you for giving me your time. So I'm talking about what I've learned by being involved with humans again and then going back into my hermitage and having to fight again through the fourth dimensional BS and lower chakra aspects, and then realizing that the king has no clothes. These people have no power. And I needed to feel that within me. I needed to know that within me. Not just be like, oh, I can walk away. Yeah, well, like many greats have said, like Bruce Lee, what's the most powerful form of martial arts? And he was like, I don't know, he named a gun. So what he's saying to you right there is there is always something more powerful for you than you. So if you're looking for power external to you, you're going to find something to match you, which sadly that poor man did. But if you're the internal, eternal, immortal God, the only wise God, and you go to your being, your source, which I cannot tell you what that is, other than that it lies within the Atman Guru and then manifests as divine or complete supreme Atman Guru, which is what the gurus do that aren't just here to teach in hive mind. So hive minding again, and the Sun Age. So why is everything in the Neptunian, Piscean, and look up those two signs because that's like yin-yang swimming in a bowl of non-reality, duality. And duality is not what most people teach. Duality, once you cut off the pendulums external and all the thought forms external and can be only yourself, by yourself, as yourself, and you identify as a living soul then, because the soul energetically will come online at that point, or you haven't found your soul, then you will only identify as a teacher of other belief systems other people teach, or you'll be a vessel through which Shiva or Shakti or the gods and goddesses, whatever you call them, Thoth, Odin, Mercury, Odin, whatever you identify that with, it's all going to one archetype. It's not a different god. It's a planetary system that has a governing star system over it, which is set in the heavens, which is governed by and influenced by the age we're under. So we're leaving Pisces and Neptune, or you don't believe in star stuff, or you don't believe in astrology, and you don't know it. You don't know the ultimate reason things are set in the heaven. Do you want to know that, or do you want to be placated? Do you want to bow to your soul and find your soul, or do you want attachments? Do you want to be able to look fear in the face and say, I'm not afraid of this, therefore I don't have to come back here or anywhere else and learn another lesson and bide my time till I can get a meat suit here or somewhere else? What do you want to learn? Or what have you come here to teach others? Well, I'm telling you what I came here to teach others. That this is a sun epoch, and therefore we are acting as if it is a sun epoch. It is losing its value, it's losing its capabilities, and it's losing its power so that the systems that are underneath it and utilized it can no longer use the power, so that the Neptune, the illusion age of the sun and everything the sun touches in this yin-yang duality, Piscean age, which you're under, but that doesn't mean you are. It doesn't mean you're forced to be a slave of that. It takes reckoning and love of self so deeply that this is all that matters. And I don't mean in a narcissistic, three-dimensional, lower chakra aspect way. You know, 'cause you know. You don't ask, you don't find, you just know. Okay? This is what it is to be a master. And I don't even want to get into calling myself that or naming who I was and how I met them all, because I've done that in other videos. And it sounds and is so very egotistical to me, because it's not the end game. I could create another ism, another entity, bow to your soul. Bow to your soul. Because we need that for this day and age. When the transition comes, when the 3 days of darkness come, when the 3 days of non-reality appear so that the new reality can appear, which is happening all the time in threes and successions within that numerology of finding the Trinity, of recreating another angle, we're going to go into a star age. And this is why the religion of these star systems is being perpetrated and or created, because that's what the next age will be based on. And only those who know how to teach as something above the star system and the Pleiadian, Arcturian, like I'm from Shuala, could say that all day long, worked with that archetype, the whole of Scorpio and Libra out their system. And this is how you learn. It's why people work with Shem angels and call those the Christian guardian angels. They're not, by the way, Christian. They're Kabbalistic. And if you studied that, you'd know that. The Kabbalah is a cable. It's a system that anchors into your life tree, that sits on your crown and takes your energy like Monsters, Inc. That's the matrix. Now we're entering into another matrix where star system religions will rule. And I'm not saying there aren't aliens, and I'm not saying there aren't other beings, because if you look in ancient times, you climb the mountains and you see stone walls that are fit together like somebody cut out bread and squished it together perfectly. These buildings and temples from ancient times, they all have faces of different types of human beings, which I believe all came here through interdimensional travel. You can go into space, yeah, but you can't live out there, because the way you go from one place to the next interdimensionally is down through death and through the water, through the realm of death, or it's up through your own chakra out of your body system. Not much different. Just different belief systems. Or you hive mind to a star system, different belief system. So we are leaving a solar religion, and those of you that are following star seeds, light beings, grand masters, grand alchemists, are hive minding to those groups who will be the next gods, goddesses, and religions, who will all fight and be human, by the way, just like Greek gods and goddesses. And all these people we read about, when you're just like, wow, they were creepy, weird, sleeping with their own kids. Well, that's how it was back then. Hopefully in the next star age we do better things than Satanists did, than Luciferians did. And their actions of abuse and ignorance and grotesqueness, we should be leaving, because the mind of God is leaving that. And what kind of God do you want to be, or what food do you want to be? The life force, the life source for the next God system. What is that? It's to rise above the storylines of the whole system. Now, if you don't know how to do that and that's not your calling, your alchemy is where your alchemy is right now in you. And if you're following something, know it is a path to your original source, not God out there. If your chakra is still sitting all up there, yeah, it's still sitting up there and you're not accessing it via all the things that are poles and gods and energy and life force and source. But when you know your soul and you pull this chakra system down into here, and the ones up from the earth, which are all you anyways, then you're not going to understand. And I can sit here and spout all day things that no one can comprehend unless I put my monadic group is Merlin, or my monadic group is some other grand Saint Germain, white light alchemist, Merlin, earth dimensional fallen aspect magician, yin yang, polarity. There isn't polarity. And yes, in the laws of nature, will they have to change in a completely new age? Yes, because we change the laws of nature via our own minds. And the possibility and the capability of us all being online and connected to source would be the greatest possibility of the human mind, not physical evolution, which is also one of the traps and lies here. You evolve via your potential of your mind and heart, all online with your highest potential, which is the greatest of all if you're actually living in that highest potential. Because many people skip the heart chakra in religions and they're just in their up and down, and then they say, oh, my highest potential and what I teach is the highest potential for the whole world. And so they're the greatest white light or the darkest gross ego, which pretty much is the same thing. The ego that's evil will pretend it's good to attract what it needs from the good side. The yin side and the other side will do the opposite, hide their dark stuff because they're all living in the light to find their lower aspects because they're hiding their shadow and their fullness of the two complete sides of the yin yang of what their greatest potential is. So you're not out to find your religion and your clan and your hive mind. You're out to find your greatest potential, or you're not. People on this earth will tell you your greatest potential is money, is power, is your voice, is people listening to you, is your belief system being put up on a pedestal. Even the yogis say that those are stairs, but they don't say it's putting you up on a pedestal. And if you've come here and you want to be on those rungs and you don't want to evolve into the next age and to another dimension into your highest potential here, then you will hive mind into somebody else's highest potential. And I learned so much from the Luciferians, 1111, and the people I was with, because I got to see the extreme polar opposites of the things that I had been in. And all their language lies, their languages, their yin-yang languages, because everyone's looking for a language so we can be on the same page, which is part of the New Age BS too, of a Pastorian age, by the way, that thinks is going to live, rule, and reign as the new gods. Look at the bull, look at England, look at all this stuff, look at the bull, past, dead, Taurian ages. These ages all think they're going to, come alive and rule in the next age as the kings and the queens. So they're all taking life force. This is what they do. This is what planets, we are told, do, though they're dead. They can be re-terraformed, so can soil, things can. But you're on a living planet with a still alive chakra, and still 1212, it's no longer alive, and then none of us will be able to be here. So in that case, we will need another dimension, which is created via the body, being fully online via all the chakra, not hive mind to some lie because of safety or fear, because that's what Luciferians and or the other Christian, light, white, religious side of that story does. People ask me about the Dracos. Yeah, the Dracos, Draconics exist. It's an energy and it's in you. So do all those other planetary systems exist because they're energy in you. Why are you going to follow one path to find your highest potential when it is to bring all of those into consolidation within the self, serving the self as the highest good, knowing you serve all of that? Why is there Draconics who are trying to kill, destroy, ruin the earth of the right? Because the right is wrong and the left is wrong, and they will continually attack each other in this warring game of duality until we come online and stop that. And if that's not your highest potential, then my work is not for you, then my lesson is not for you, then my language is not for you, because my language is coming from the center. My language is coming from Christianity and Satan's worst fear and nightmare. That's called a living God. It's called highest potential. It's called no duality and no prison system. And don't you believe for 1 second that yin and yang do not want Plato's cave to continue eternally. They do. This is the third dimension. Do you want to reach the fifth dimension like all these star seeds and systems and light workers talk about, and alchemists? Then don't be their food, because you literally are that. And you literally will hive mind to that because your energy of your conscious element belong to that. Now you are multiple elements: earth, air, fire, water, ether, and consciousness, because consciousness is a new element that came about within the sun age. So yes, that age helped us. It didn't put us down. It brought us to where we are in our evolution. Do you want to go back to being? Do you want to go back, follow an evolution of this earth or some other that has you going back to being something else? Which some people say you can never go back to being a lesser human or a lesser form. And then those who believe in karma of the lower chakra or the right hand chakra of religion, saying you owe us, you owe us, you owe us, unless you're perfect, you owe us, which Christ came and taught about. That was a lie. And by the way, his monadic group ascended 2,000 years ago, and that is all over. And the only judgments that then re-perpetrated on this earth, such as that, are just lies of that. That's why I have Derek Jester up, because he defeats the whole Bible in that. Is he still monadic minding to that group? Yeah, he is. So he is part of the satanic Luciferian realm still. None of my business, you know. Also, if you identify with and unk into the energy of an ascended master, which I have used, but they are not my God. They are my family I'm learning from right now and have been, and why I was able to survive what I went through with Satanists and High Priestess and those top of the realm, whatevers. They are no longer out anymore. They are exposed to the sun, to the truth. They are defeated. And I must continue to walk in the knowledge and the wisdom of the fact that they are 1555. Or I don't know that, and I don't live that. And that's why I fall, and that's why I'm a bad example. And that's why I will continue to be a better example and keep saying, read Tufti, the priestess. Read it, Foot. Read about these alchemists. Now, don't give your soul to them. Don't give your life force and energy to them, or you'll be deceived in this Neptunian age and you'll stay in it. Do you want to hive mind to the next age and the next system on this earth? Or do you have a greater potential? Do you know your greatest potential? If you don't erase those storylines, how are you going to know another storyline has a capability of coming in? If you erase Christianity and you put in place witchcraft, well, you're holding the same game. You're doing the same ancient duality. Do you want to rise above that, or do you want to identify with it? That's your choice. Do you want to identify as a meat suit, as a male, as a female? Do you want to identify as a living soul, as a spirit, which is when the supreme crown rules continually and the implosion never stops, and you start glowing up like a flashlight? To literally, the saints in the old days were always depicted with auras because they literally glowed. Now, if you're a third dimensional person, you're not going to see that on someone who's glowing. I could see it on my ex-mate. Why? Because he was taking life force from other people. He was an illuminate. He was illuminating he was illuminating himself like a light bulb. I have to slow down. And for me to slow down is more to use my hands, which helps with public speaking because it engages other people. And this is why we do the things that we do, in order to relate to each other. But you can get so caught up in the relating of the archetypes that you don't realize that you can be God of and High Priestess of and Lord over all the archetypes in this world. And that is not blasphemy. It is common sense once you comprehend it. But some people are not at that level. They just know that, well, we're all evolving here like the tree told me, and that's okay because that's that thing's capacity. If I'm going to that thing and asking the spirit in that, it's going to give me the knowledge of its own capacity, to its greatest capacity. And I'm not going to then steal the spirit out of that tree because I'm not a shaman. And even if I've been through that realm, I no longer identify as that. So I talked 20 minutes again and didn't talk about the moon-sun epoch really much, other than to say that the sun is controlling this age. And it's not going to the next age because that's what an epoch is about. The moon epoch ruled before that. And the polar age epoch ruled before that. And if you study enough into history, you'll see those patterns, know that. And it's all coming to fruition and being seen now anyways. Why? So you can hive mind to what you believe in. So you can give your energy to the source you're creating, which I hope is your highest self, which I hope is your highest good. Because then it will be the highest good of all. So I can't hive mind to what other people believe. I have to be the highest, my highest good of all, for the highest good of others in this sun age. And I think I will another time get more in depth of talking about the details of what a sun age is, or I'll try to pull up my other old videos where I channel and talk about those things. Channel as my higher self, not separate from that. But all these archetypes and all these things are one. And until you realize they're all one, and that is one in you, and you are here to use it as your oneness for your highest good, which is the only way you can do the highest good for the other, is max oxygen first, then you're going to give your mind to something. We are all hive minding. until we realize potentials beyond that, and what our highest potential is, and who we are and who we've been and what we were, past, present, future. And in order for you to do that, you can't live in fear. You can't yin yang. You have to know you're both. You have to know love, light, and darkness. And all together, if it's not love, light, and darkness, it's not love, because it's not your whole totality condensed within the heart space, continually imploding, where you can literally feel your spirit alive, moving, and breathing. It is alive, it's not dead, so therefore it doesn't leave the body the same way. And then I've made other videos on how one leaves through the third eye or through the crown. Crown has ceased to exist, third eye is hive mind to something, and to be a yogi or something somewhere else. So no one has to agree with what I say. I'm simply here reiterating from all time. And that's who I am and what I am and how I identify as everything from all time. Because I am not going to identify with anything but the eternal and eternity. And that is to be one with your Godhead and your eternal monad. And what steps you take on the way is what steps you take. Now, I could sit here and say I channeled all this, and I could make myself a great channeler if I just adopt a name of a past tense dead person or monad, so that you can all say, oh, that's Merlin. Oh, that's Saint Germain. By the way, I've met Saint Germain. He's online, and he never once says he's Saint Germain, because he's only a fractal of that, and he knows that. And I find that funny, because he refuses to identify as that. He's just running an orphanage in Africa and doesn't say that he knows what he is, and that's okay. He doesn't need the ego of other people to recognize who he is, because he knows what he is, and he's full of it. He's the fullness, and he's helping children and working on his own eternal being, running an orphanage from Germany that's in Africa, and healing himself and healing other people, and removing lower dimensional aspects of people that aren't fully their divinity, that are holding them back from climbing through their own eternal highway to heaven, their own eternal highway to heaven, their stairway to heaven. Climbing the stairway to heaven. You know, in that song, the woman's climbing her stairway to heaven by buying a whole bunch of pretty things. Some of us buy into a whole bunch of pretty religions and pretty ideas, but we're still all climbing the stairway to heaven. We're still all climbing. And so I may say harsh things, but I'm telling you what the fullness of your potential is, and not to get caught up on the way. And if you get caught up on the way in the carnival, enjoy the carnival. Enjoy it. Because the Luciferians and the Satanists who murder, rape, and pillage and destroy are. So if you're in the white light being side, you might as well do the same, right? Create a book that has other people hive-minding to a bunch of old past tense goddesses, and her changing her whole family line and her whole story after she happens to take a visit to Mount Shasta doing drugs, but won't say that. She becomes a totally different hive-minded, different person, and changes her name. Why? Because she needs your energy and life force to continue as the goddess, dead goddess she is. And that's what ancient Egypt was about. And preserving the death. And there is ancient people preserved in this earth who weren't Egyptians. From millions of years ago, literally preserved in glass chambers, in gas, in the earth, which is where the story of Sleeping Beauty comes from anyways. There are eternals that are here, eternal. Always eternal. And other places eternal. We're eternal. And you need to let your mind digest that, and a lot of us can't. I know as a Christian, I never couldn't try to sit there and imagine the eternalness and the eternal oneness of an eternal Godhead Father, and I couldn't. It had to be through those archetypes that gave me, through these archetypes those gave me. But now I can identify, grasp, and totally see eternal, because I've seen it, because I've felt it within myself, because I've been it as lower and higher dimensional frequencies of the self within this being that I'm expressing for all those beings for, and I don't want to express for anything less. I will not hive mind, I will not take sides. Something I learned from Samael, the Shem demon that was inside of my ex-partner, 2444, was all these things I'm talking about, non-duality, but he didn't get it. He didn't get it because he wanted to live out of his lower chakra and take life force of other people, which is a path here and one can do. And all of us know it's disgusting and know you can go to prison for life for it, and know that it's what the elites of a sun-dying God age are doing. Because they don't know about their polarity in their center, and they don't want to work hard to get there, and they don't have any concept of what it really is to be gods. They're not gods. They're just lower aspects of their own constipated divinity. And you can be that, and you can choose to be that. Or you can take an enema, and you can be the fullness of your Godhead. And that ain't easy. Believe me, you have to crush everything you were, past, present, future tense. And no one's ever going to see you as anything. And the few that do, they are there for a purpose, and they'll come and go as they need. They'll take the energy and life force that they want from you, and the ideas they'll want from you, and they'll build a palace, either for themselves or for somebody else in the heavens. That's what building a heaven is. That's what Christ was talking about. I'm going to prepare a place for you. That's what he was. He was the leader of a monadic group. He came here, he taught great things. People hated him and killed him like they do to all saints and all mystics. And onward, upward, they take their monadic group with them and they leave. Now, many monadic groups are appearing here on the earth now because why? Something's happening to the earth. And whether you want to believe that's full destruction or ascension, you believe what you want to believe. There's multiple ascensions happening right now, as did also in Christ's time and did in Shiva's time, which is why people just totally disappear from the earth. And then the earth peoples, lower dimensional peoples, are all that's left here on this earth shamanically, and they have to grow up the next age, and that's what some people are here to do. That's their highest potential. That's all they want. They live out of those lower dimensional chakras. Let them. They're still dead. They belong here. Let the dead bury their dead. This is something I have to say to myself daily when I lose friends and lose people I love. Let the dead bury the dead. They're burying themselves in these ideas, in this witchcraft, in this Satanism, in this Christianity, because it's all the same thing, in this masonry, in this great edifice that is being built by the forefathers, off your blood, sweat, tears, off your energy, off your souls. Next religion is going to be about astrology and those who understand it. So if you believe you're that, maybe you should understand that. Maybe you should understand what it's like to be a mystic so you can get out of here. Or so at least you can have your heart and your own soul while you're here and be like, hey, I'm full of peace and happiness here. And if you pay attention to or give your life force to any of these Satanist, Christians, Catholic, Luciferian, mystical, mythical archetypes of Merlin or Saint Germain or whatever you want to call them, then you're choosing to do that. And that's all I have to say to you. And I'm not putting you down. I'm telling you, use that as a tool to find your greatest potential, because that's all it is. It's all just tools. The mind, the earth, the air, the fire, the water, the ether, the consciousness. They are all tools given to us from past epochs and past ages and past gods and goddesses, which the jinn and the neter and the neteri, the neti, the neteri are of Egypt. People made them into externalized thought forms. Yes, they were giants. Yes, they were amazing. Yes, they were different than us. We're not them. We don't have all the power of the elementals online. And when we do, we know what they are. They're our elementals. They serve us. We don't serve them. If we serve them, we give the archetypes and the false narrative in a Neptunian Piscean age power to rule. So you're giving it to the past dead Taurian age of Satanists or Luciferians, who are the sun epoch. So you may say you're a witch, you're a shaman, you're a druid, you're a soul. Bow to your soul. Outside of Sheila, I am a soul. I'm bowing to this soul and this eternal Godhead to move ever on through my pole star, for my ancestors, for everything that ever came within my energy, through my energy, around my energy. You bet your butt I'm ascending for them. That is love. And if I have to cut off all the old dead storylines of those people and things and let them pass on to their storylines, so be it. When I ascend, other things ascend, and what belongs with me ascends with me, and what doesn't, doesn't. Am I saying like I'm your God? No. No. Am I saying listen to your internal Godhead? Yes. Bow to your soul, or your soul's not alive. Do you want to live, move, and have your being? Do you want to have the Ma Shakti, the Holy Ghost, come online always, all the time? It's an energy. It is implosion of your toroidal field, where the worship of the past Taurian age was also about, which is why they have Taurus the bull and all the symbology, carrying the sun or the moon on its head, whatever epoch it is it's carrying. The next is going to be the human being, the water bearer, carrying the stars of the next age. Now, the water bearer is neither male nor female. It's made as different things on cards, but it is a human form. It's not a sex. It's been different things, so look that up. But everything is your toroidal field in all ages. That all the mystery that's been hidden is that you're the toroidal field. And when you find that and bring that online, then you're those Egyptian gods and goddesses, and you don't need your bodies mummified. You don't need to be in some special argonautic gas buried in the ground. Great if you are, that's great. But you don't need to be, because the universe is vast. There's according to the Shivites, there's 300 or the Hindus, there's 369, maybe, because that's a spiritual imperfect number. 1,000, or was it million, 100,000 different dimensions. Like, look it up. I'm not into that religion. I've learned many great things from it, though, via the ancestors, who, by the way, have grown since then. So they've been here recycling, and they know from the past. They know better. They know. It's just about knowing. And when you're pulling all the energy of every source within, you can tap in to any source. You're the Tesla coil. You're the implosion, the toroidal field. And that's all there is. There's nothing else. And until you become nothing and one with nothing and no idea and no belief system, and just, I love you, my soul, I love you, my soul, and I'll try to put those exercises back up and things from my past to tell you, until you are forced to love that beyond any existence here and know it exists and bow to it and worship it, it ain't gonna come online. Because that spirit needs to live, move, and have its beings, and your old dead paradigms cannot kill it and squash it and Luciferianize and Satanize and Christianize and demonize it. Left, right, left, anyize it. And then you will move into your calling here on earth, because you'll know it from your center. And if that so happens to be working as a light being, as a whatever you relate, you'll know, because you'll know. You know yourself. That is what it is to know. 3303 on my clock here. That's the mystery. The mystery is you. Nobody wants to know that. Oh, the mystery is oneness. Yeah, you're one. Are you here, not standing here singularly with polarity, but singularly containing the polarity, or you'd be dead. So do you want to heal? Do you want to be free? Do you want to know your highest good and the highest good and potential of all the others? Be it. So I'm going to end. It's at 333 on my clock. 3333. Thank you so much for listening. It's about eternal alchemy. It's not about anything else. Thank you.